Uh, I'm very disappointed in, my brothers and sisters. I have come to call, the lost children. We are bunch of people I know, mostly due to, our parents hanging out. I wouldn't call all of us friends. Some of us still are. Some of us not anymore. Some of us aren't here anymore. The lost children, I call us, we are the sons and daughters of lifelong substance abuse users. And that's all I'm going to say about me and mine personally. But, yeah. I'm just very disappointed in all of them. And, I feel a little blessed, but I also feel like it's not something done unto me pulling myself out of the muck. That's my own doing. I had a hard time I was 22, 23 years old. I had a hard time there with my own substance abuse problem, and I pulled myself out of there, never looked back. But everyone else, not so much. They're not doing so good, and I'm very disappointed in them because, I understand mistakes and slip ups. I mean, it's part of growing up and being a teenager, I guess. You know, dipping into the white powder and what have you, smoking a little something. Yeah, I don't blame anyone for that. I mean, we all do that, but eventually we get our shit together. Not my brothers and sisters. They it's been 40 years and most of them still haven't gotten their shit together. Like I said, I kicked my habit at 23, never looked back. I'm almost 40 myself. I'm 37, and four of my close friends that I know of more, but four of my close friends aren't doing so good. One of them's in jail right now, probably going to prison. He, I'm very disappointed in him. He's my age. He, I remember he's probably the one I've been around the longest. I grew up with him before we were teens, and I remember him always talking about, "Oh, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that because of my mom. I'm never going to turn out like her. I'm never going to do that." And, here he is doing that. And his mom's actually doing quite well. His mom cleaned up. His mom got her shit together. I'm actually better friends now today with his mom than I am with him because he's just an absolute asshole. He's still living with his parents and his grandmother. He's tearing up the house, hiding shit in the walls. There's maggots in his bed. I don't know why. Just I can't even see him. Can't even see him. And then he's in jail. And okay, we live in Washington State up here in the Seattle area. They do not like to keep people in jail. They like to release people, catch and release all day, every day, especially if it's drug related or mental health related. So they're keeping him there, and when it's time for him to come out, he has to go into treatment, and he's refusing, so they're keeping him in jail. He keeps this up, he's going to go to prison. And then there's one of my best friends. I'm still pretty close with him. I haven't known him longer as, the friend I just mentioned, but I would call him my best friend, and he is always hooked on something. Sometimes, most of the times, it's cigarettes. Most of the time, it's cigarettes. He's got an addictive personality. So do I guess. But, you know, I don't have any vice currently. Not booze, not smokes, nothing. I drink from here and there, but I rarely drink to get drunk. And it's been about, I don't know, it's been about a month since I had my last drink. Had a drink last night. My friend's always doing something. Mostly it's smokes, and he's a 4-pack a day guy. A 4-pack a day guy. Most people are like a 1 or a 2-pack. Sometimes you hear, this guy's a 4-pack a day guy. And when the worst times of his life is when he quit smoking. Every time. Every time, I'm gonna quit smoking. It'll save me so much money. Hey, Turbo, I'm gonna quit smoking, and then I'm gonna start, getting it back into games so I can play with you. What happens is he quits, and then he immediately fills it with booze or hard drugs. Immediately. And then he always breaks some sort of bone, or he breaks, someone else's bone, that's his family, or he goes to jail multiple times, and or he's hospitalized. Always something with him. His last big fuck up, I tell the story. I've told the story before, maybe not on this channel, but I've told the story before where he was helping his buddies paint, and they gave him money to go buy a 24-pack of beer, and he went and he bought whatever. I don't know what he bought. I don't think it was beer. I think it was a couple of bottles of something. Drank the shit himself. Came back, drunk off of his ass, stole the paint, went back to his apartment. Later that day, his wife came home from work. The apartment door was kicked in. She didn't know what was going on. She was afraid her animals had fled, or they got broken into. Went inside the apartment. There was paint everywhere. It was on the TV. It was on the walls, on the animals. They had a cat and a dog. Blood everywhere, mixed in with the paint. And apparently what had happened is my buddy had came home. They had a roommate that was living there at the time. Got into a fight with the roommate. The roommate said fuck this and bounced out. That's where all the blood came from. Police had to end up being called. And then my friend was naked, covered in paint and blood, ran from the police and back into the apartment. They had kicked the door down and then took him away. And his poor wife didn't know what happened until she got a phone call. That was the last time he fucking relapsed. I got another friend. She probably does the best out of all of them, but she's a lifelonger. She's constantly drunk or high. She just replaces weed with booze, booze with weed. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Women are so different from dudes. Like, guys are dumb, but women are just in straight up denial. Her story is a lot similar to my best friend's story that I just told. How, if she's not doing one thing, she's doing something else. But her denial is hardcore. It's hard to watch sometimes. And then I have another friend who's just basically living out of a van. I heard he's gone gay. Meaning, he's sucking dick for money. And And this was a guy I went to high school with, and we were, yo, bro, what's up? Hey, hey, did you see so-and-so and her fucking titties? Yeah, man. And we were making fun of the faggots, and, he was one of the bros, and now there he is sucking dick on downtown Seattle next to the fucking Dollar Tree. Yeah, I'm disappointed with all of them. I don't know why I turned out okay in that regard. Last night we lost one of them. We lost one of the lost children. This cat, he was 18 years old. He should have known better. His mother, still alive, still using. She had gotten cancer, beat cancer, and I didn't know him that well. I've met him maybe 10 times in my life. I remember the first time I saw him. It was about 15, it was 18 years ago. It was 18 years ago. It was before I met my wife. I was still living at my grandmother's house. And my mom and her friend came over. Her friend, I heard just had a baby. And she brought it over in a little carriage, in a little baby holder, an infant. And I remember I had a little cat, Keaton. He was my first baby, my first little kitty cat, my orange kitty, bad orange kitty. And I remember I brought him out to see the baby. Who is that? The cat freaked out. I remember this little guy in his little carrier. And he had gotten older. I had seen him maybe a handful of times. He'd had a troubled life. It mirrored my own and all of ours. And then just last night, that's why I was having a drink. Just last night, they found him dead. They found him fucking dead. Fentanyl overdose. I got a phone call from my aunt and my cousin, who, my cousin is friends with one of the daughters. This is her brother. Called hysterically. I had to leave and I had to go, late at night up to watch my grandmother. She's got Alzheimer's. I mentioned I used to live with my grandmother. This is the same house. I went up there and I went in and I was just watching her. It was late at night, so she doesn't wander or something. We had some drinks and we were talking. And apparently, I had learned after I came home that he was still there. He was still there in his room, in his bed, dead. They hadn't taken him away. The aid car didn't even come. And my aunt, who takes care of my grandmother, she came back home eventually, relieved me of my duty. She was hysterical and crying, and she couldn't get why the ambulance didn't even come. I'm trying to explain to her, it's probably a combination of, our shitty city, just being under-resourced, because of the political nature of things here in the Seattle area. Not really going to go too much into that. But also, they already knew that he was dead, based off of the reports, based off of what they had told them when they called 911. They knew he was already dead. And they sent the cops over there probably to see if it was a murder. And that's tough, man. There's your dead son in the bed, laying there, and you can't go in there. The cops won't let you go in there and cuddle him, cover him up with a blanket, because it's a crime scene. It sucks, man. Apparently he had gone in there and locked the door, and his friend came over and had to climb through the window, and that's when they found him. But he was in there earlier that day. His mom was playing some music in the next room, and she said that he was banging on the wall. No, that could have been, probably not. I don't think. I think if you're high on fentanyl or dying, you don't, I don't know, man. I really don't fucking know. But, you know, the thought of him in there dying, banging on the wall maybe for help, and, you know, she can't get in because the door's locked, or maybe didn't hear him because she had the music up too loud, that's not a good thought. Trying to keep everyone's identity closed up here. I don't want to name any names. Everyone's a friend here, a friend there, a family friend, a mother, a daughter, a son, a young kid. But, you know, we lost another one. And, it's tough. This one was real young. This one was only 18. I didn't grow up with him. I didn't go to school with him. You know, he wasn't, you know, one of my friends. He wasn't one of my mom's friends' kids or nothing. Just a guy I knew of, and shit. Now he's gone because he wanted to experiment with fentanyl. Who knows? The story could be completely different. Like I said, as far as I know, he's still laying in that bed right now. I had to tell my aunt. My aunt didn't understand things, and they're like, well, they said he was cold. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe his heartbeat's really low. Maybe they need to go in there and do CPR. And I'm trying to tell her, like, as someone who saw his mom die, you know, in a hospital, when you go, you turn blue. Straight up. Straight the fuck up. If my whole skin was this color, no joke, that's what color you turn. And I saw her go from this color to this color. And when you're this color, you're not alive. There's not a chance you're alive. You're a fucking blueberry. And I'm trying to tell her, you know, he's gone. To comfort her. It did not comfort her. It's just fucked. He was way too fucking young, man. Way too fucking young. He had no one. He had no one. He had a shitty fucking mom. He had a fucking stepdad that abuses him. And no one to help him. No mentor. Not me. Not anyone else. No one to fucking help him. He had two sisters that fucking bounced out and left him. One of them left the state. The other one moved across the state to the other side. You know, they could have fucking taken him with or something. I know it's not their responsibility, but he had no one. He was stuck in that fucking drug house until the end of his days. Well, thanks for listening to me, bitch. I'm gonna go fuck off.